Listen, do you know that feeling when you can't stop thinking about something and it just drives you just up the wall because it's in your head, and maybe you feel angry or frustrated or upset, and you know it's not good for you, and yet you don't know how to break out of it. Right? You just kind of stuck in that feeling, and the more you think about it, like the worse it gets. I think the reason why we overthink things, why we get stuck in our own thoughts and feelings, and why like that trips us up, is because we know deep inside, I think you know what's on the other side of that. Because the opposite of overthinking, it's being in the moment. It's been present, like in this moment, like today, like when you're caught up in it, and you feel good. You're not thinking about the past. You're not worrying about the future. Maybe you're doing something you love. Maybe you're spending time with someone you care about. Like, and that feels good, right? Because sometimes when you're in that state, like things just kind of flow, like they just naturally go from one thing to another, and you feel like it feels like there's this natural progression, right? And you can express yourself so much more fully, right? And you can be more creative, and things that let's just kind of come up for you. Like maybe you wouldn't even be thinking about this otherwise. That, my friend, is the beauty of living in the moment. It's something that just really excites me. I'm so just passionate about it because it's something that really came into my life as what I thought is a big deal after going through cancer. And I realized that for so much of my life, in dealing with just difficult past, with dealing with this just rough things that happen in life, just dealing with anxiety and panic attacks, I realized I spent so much of my time just caught up. It's just like in my own head, I don't know if that's true for you, but that time, that experience, those thoughts, those unhelpful emotions, like they're incredibly destructive. They add no value, right? We could be doing so many more things because like this feeling of being present, being more engaged, it's just so much more precious. So what can we do, right? That's the discussion today, right? What can we do about it? Right? How can we feel and then more engaged, more present, more in the moment? By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm a life coach. I'm the founder of Power to Be Happy. I'm also a proud author of this book, Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in a challenging world of today. And I believe that when we collect emotions and thoughts inside of us, like it's hard to hold on to them, and neither we are meant to hold on to these thoughts, to these emotions, whether they are helpful to you or whether they are not. Right? We're meant to get them out, especially if it's something that isn't serving you, that isn't conducive to your relationships, to your work, to the way that you feel about yourself, right? So it's all about translating, I believe, those things that you have inside, thoughts, emotions, feelings, translating them in the experiences in the outside world. So you're taking what's built up inside you and translating them into, essentially transforming them into something that physically happens in the outside world. Right? So we turn them feelings, thoughts, emotions into experiences we can have in the real world. We take them from somewhere inside and put them out into the real world. Well, how do we do that? Well, here's a couple of ideas. One is to create something. To create, whether that's something you, maybe you make some food that you love. You make some food, whether maybe you write on a birthday card. Maybe for you create is take a beautiful photo of just something that you like. Maybe for you to create is, I don't know, write an email. Maybe create is write an entry in your diary. Maybe it's writing a chapter in your book. I don't know what that is for you, but creating something, making something happen is a real tangible experience that requires your thoughts, your feelings, ideas, right? So you're putting them to work. You're engaging your internal state and you're translating it you're making something happen. And that really changes, that creates a release. That helps you feel better, right? Have you noticed that when sometimes you're in that state of being frustrated or angry or worked up, sometimes people say, well, you gotta wait and it will go away. Well, probably waiting is another word for you stumbling upon something that you actually do in the real world that helps you to get it out from inside yourself. So what is it that you can create? What is it that you could create maybe right now? It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be an artwork, although it can be. Maybe something simple. Make a meal, write a note, send an email, whatever it is for you. Creating something is one of the ways it can help you. Another idea is opening things up. Open a conversation, right? I really believe the conversation is something that we open, right? Because we open possibilities, right? We can open things, but opening anything will feel like you're doing something. Whether that's opening, whether you can look at it metaphorically, whether it's opening a new chapter in your work, whether that's opening a new book, or whether that's really opening someone up by having a conversation. Maybe it's calling up a friend and saying, "How you going? What's happening in your world? What are you excited about? What did you learn something new? Saying something that maybe you haven't even done before, or said to this person before. Just open up a conversation, see where it's gonna go. Not because you have answers, but because you're willing to open yourself, the people around you, the world to possibilities. Because isn't it true that anything is possible and we are capable of so much more than we think? And sometimes we wait until something happens to us, or we wait to make a change that maybe you wanted to do for some time. Maybe you're waiting to have a conversation with someone. Maybe you're waiting for an opportunity, I don't know, to ask someone out. Maybe you're into someone and you have been wanting to ask them out, but maybe you didn't. Well, maybe now is a beautiful chance to make that happen. Maybe you've been so busy that you haven't got around to speaking to a friend of yours in ages. Well, maybe now it's just a beautiful time to give someone a call, see what they're like, see what's going on for them. Because when you open things up, when we open up conversation, when we open ourselves up to new opportunities, when we open ourselves up to new ideas, when we immerse yourself in new things, that changes how we feel on the inside. And those thoughts, those worries, those concerns, we help to usher them out from somewhere inside you to the real world where they can serve you in a way because you're changing them. You're using those emotions to do something different. Another thing you can do is Do something that you really love doing, or something that you believe in, that maybe you have already done in the past, or maybe something it is something that you do on a regular basis. Maybe it's, I don't know, going jogging. Maybe it's doing exercise. Maybe it's a project that you have going on and you're planning and you're going to set it aside. Or maybe now you can kind of bring it back up. Maybe you can now do more of it. Maybe you can like spend half an hour, doing something that you believe in, something that you enjoy, or something that is important to you in some way. Or maybe it's a great time to try something, to try and do something that maybe you wanted to do but you haven't done before. Maybe it's for you, it's going for a run in a different place. Maybe for you it's going to find a way to volunteer somewhere. What is that for you? What does it look like for you when you can do something that is important to you, something that you already do in your life, or maybe something you haven't got around to before, or maybe something you could try? What is that for you? Because that helps us to break that pattern where we're stuck in our heads and do something in here, in real life, that changes things. And when it's something that is meaningful in some way, or could be meaningful, that really helps you. Because if you do something that is just, you can do without thinking, right? If it's, I don't know whether it's washing the dishes, or I don't know what that is for you. But if you do something that doesn't require thinking, we often get still in that, the train of thought. It's kind of, the wheels are spinning, in the same direction. We want to be able to change it up and do something that you're not used to doing in that moment. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is when you're in that state, when you feel like you want to switch from the place where you're caught up and feeling like frustrated or upset or angry, or maybe you have a thought that just keeps on running and running over and over in your mind. That is to share something. Again, I know it's a broad kind of word, because sharing, you can do anything, but I think sharing is sharing something that you have with somebody else. Whether that's sharing a meal, whether that's sharing an idea, whether that's sharing an inspiration, whether it's sharing, something, a memory that you had. Sharing something is so vital. Whether that's on social media, whether that's in person, whether it's with your partner, whether that's with your child, whether that's with your best friend, whether it's someone you work with, right? That can be such a powerful experience where you're sharing something. You're giving something of yours to somebody else. That's a beautiful thing. And the more important it is for you, the more transformative that experience is on everyday level. Sometimes we think that transformation is something that happens, is a big thing that, you have to have some huge epiphany. I don't think it's like that at all. I really believe that transformation is something that happens, something that you do almost in the spur of the moment. That you just decide to do it. And maybe it's hard, and maybe you don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it. And sharing something that is personal to you, whether it's an idea, whether that's a cool experience, whether it's something that you remember, whether that's a meal, something that's as tangible as sharing it with somebody else, that's powerful, because that's how we connect. That's how we get to. That's because that connection is mutual, right? It gets you engaged. It gets you more present in the moment. It gets you to focus on what it is that's going on right now. And that's what all of those things that we talked about, that's what they help you do. They bring you out from that kind of internal state inside of you, and they bring you into the world. They bring you into the realm of you doing things. That's what we're talking about. Creating something. Creating something, no matter how small, but creating something that is important or fun for you. We talk about opening something that you feel like you opening a conversation, where you feel like you opening a new chapter of a book that you're reading, something that you can do that you feel that opens you up to the world. That is key. Also, doing something that you love or believe in, or that excites you, or that is just feels important in some way. That's huge. And also, lastly, is to be able to share something, share an idea, share a thought, share a meaningful memory, right? All of these things are related, but they have one thing in common. They require you doing something in the real world. And the more connected you are to the experience that you are creating, whether that's a thought, whether that's an empowering idea, whether that's just a cool experience that just hits you or that excites you or that just happens spontaneously, the more you get to be present, the more you move further away from disempowering thoughts, feelings, ideas that are not helping you, towards a place where you are interacting with other people, where you're doing something that is meaningful to you. You're creating meaning. You're living with a greater sense of purpose. It's the small steps that we do, my friend. The small things that help us to feel in the moment, to feel more present, to feel more engaged. That's what excites us. I want to thank you for being here, my friend, because this is such a vital area of our lives that often we kind of sail past it and we don't think about it. And we go through maybe negative experience or unhelpful experiences or thoughts, and we let them slide past. But being more present, being more in the moment, it doesn't happen naturally. Sometimes it does, but we can create the right conditions. We can put the right conditions in place to make it happen so much more. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky, and I'm here to remind you, my friend, that you have this incredible power to be happy, to seek greater clarity in everything that you do, to show up at your best every single day so that you know that you are enough. And to hold on to hope, no matter how crazy it gets. Things can and do change for the better. I want to thank you for being here, for looking after yourself. And if you feel that you're stuck in a moment of your life where things aren't working for you, where you feel that you're not progressing, you're stuck in a negative pattern of thinking, I can help you to break out of it and work with you one-on-one to help you feel more in the moment, more present, more engaged, to get massive progress in key areas of your life so you can spend less time in your head and out into the real world doing things that truly matter to you, to your values, to your way of life. Thank you for being here. I'll see you soon.